I come before you today to talk to you about Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes, Ghost of Tsushima is a masterpiece, and as I like to call it and my internet friends also like to call it, the tale of wee Jimmy the Chib. Or the ghost tale of wee Jimmy the Chib. Or Ghost wee Jimmy the Chib. Why do we call him wee Jimmy the Chib? Because his name is Gin, you know, like the drink, only with a J and not a G. Gin! And he cuts about with a samurai sword and a wee blade thing, and he chibs people until they snuff it. So he is wee Jimmy the Chib. Now that we've got that cleared up, we can move on to the review! I'm constipated, right? Don't judge me. Right, so what is Ghost of Tsushima? It is a samurai chibbing game, open world, where you go about chibbing Mongols that have invaded the island of Tsushima. This is a historical event, although the character of Jin and the surrounding story is fictitious. So it's historical fictitious. So it's going to have inaccuracies. I don't know what they are right enough, and do you know what? See, at this point, I'm not bothered. If I want to really find out what happened, I'll read up on it later, but for now, I'm enjoying just walking about this gigantic world, and it is gigantic. Chibbing people, cutting them, making them spill the crimson fluid. The way the game opens up is highly impressive. A massive set-piece battle where you are charging the Mongol forces on the beaches of Tsushima. It's like the beaches of Normandy in reverse and with samurais with swords and shields, right? You get the idea. It's that sort of, jeez, oh man, this is massive. And you come face to face with this guy called Khotan Khan, and I can't help but think of Kotal Khan from Mortal Kombat X. So that's who he is. You're fighting Outworld, no the Mongols. Outworld it is. And I believe Khotan Khan is the grandson or great-grandson of Genghis. Big Genghis! He farts all day and he farts all night. Aye. Then you get your arse kicked off of this guy, and then you get popped off a bridge, and he kidnaps your uncle, and the game starts from there, and somebody finds you and patches you up, and you find your armour and it's wrecked and shit, and it's like, oh no, my armour's pure knackered. Then you get new armour and you find tons of this shit throughout the world. You'll get quests to get armour pieces, you'll get headbands, and you'll find wee foxes that you can pet, and the foxes will lead you to these wee shrines, right? And the shrines will upgrade your resolve, which is basically your health, and the only way to get that back is to battle. So if you're running low on health and you can't heal, you need to knock the pans into these Mongols and chib them and cut them, and yes. The combat, I thought the combat was going to be this sort of a bit simplistic, you know, not so satisfying, but as you get into the game more and you'll learn new stances, and you'll say this stance will take care of the swordsman, then you get this stance will take care of the big boys, well this one will deal with the guys with the spears, and then there's one to deal with guys with the swords and the shields, and you're cutting about and you're getting attacked by all sides with all the different types of weapons, and you're changing stances, and you're doing perfect parries, and you're chipping folk, and it's insanely intense, and oh man, I love it. I absolutely love the combat. And you'll also get attacked by Mongol dogs that look really weird. They look like mini bears. You also get attacked by bears, and they'll drag you about and they'll throw you about like rag dolls, and you feel like DiCaprio in that Revenant movies is getting munched by the bear. It's, jeez, oh man. But that's not all the world has to offer. You'll get shrines, which are basically your jumping puzzles. Some of them you can't do right away because you need a grappling hook. So that's a bit annoying, but it'll tell you, the game will actually say you need to come back later on, right? And you're like, cool, at least I'm not wasting my time trying to find a way up when there's no way of me actually doing it. You'll also get wee birdies, wee yellow birdies that'll lead you to various different things. The foxes only lead you to shrines, but the birds will lead you to resolve challenges where you'll cut bamboo, and they can be quite tricky actually, I'm not going to lie. Then they'll maybe lead you to a side quest or an encounter with some bad guys, you'll need to free hostages, and one of the major drawbacks I've had with the combat is the fact that the camera sometimes does not know what the hell it's doing, and it'll get stuck on trees and it'll be obscured by walls, and you're like, well, that can cost you a fight, do you know what I mean? Because some of the hits these big boys have got, they just knock, yes, they knock the utter pan off your head, which is quite infuriating, especially when it's the camera that goes blip behind a tree and you're like, thanks. You'll also get AI glitches where you'll see guys like just run into walls and things like that. It's kind of funny, but it doesn't happen all that often. These things don't bother me all that much. I enjoy the game too much and it's like, oh, look at that Egypt's ran into a wall. Chib, well good. Well good. So this game gives me vibes of Assassin's Creed mixed with Breath of the Wild. And I say that, like, Assassin's Creed, people have wanted a Japanese Assassin's Creed for yonks. I personally haven't. I think there's plenty of games about Japan and feudal Japan out there. This is another one. You've also got Sekiro and you've got 2 Neo games and you get Onimusha re-released recently, so there's plenty of games about Japan. I need more games about Vikings, and that's what I'm getting with Assassin's Creed. So, you know, if you're really wanting a Japanese-style Assassin's Creed type game, this is it. Plus, it works better than your typical Ubisoft, because they actually focus test this, I think. I say I think, I don't actually know. They could just be pretending. Just got lucky this day. Regardless, it's a bloody good game, and it's bloody well made, and you'll see that. You'll also get to see Jin's bare arse. And I'm like, what? These are health shrines. And what it does is it's a wee hot spring. And he'll take his kit off and you'll see his bare bum cheeks. And then he'll descend into the water and you get to dwell on things like your uncle's kidnapping or some kind of rebellion. Or just the fact that you're pure knackered. It's like, yeah, the knackered one does me and then that'll up your health a little bit. But there's loads of these wee things cutting about and the birds will lead you to them and all. I love the way the navigation system works. It's no... Well, there are, like, you know, waypoints. But if you're, like, cutting through the wilderness and you're like, am I going the right way? Because there's no mini-map. You just push up in the wee touchpad thingy on the PS4 pad and a big gust of wind will... It'll come in and it'll point to whatever direction you need to go in. I thought, oh, that's pretty neat. I quite like that. Aye! You also get to kill deers accidentally, and if you do, you don't get anything from them. But you do if it's a predator type, like a boar, or a bear, or a dog. Especially if it's an attack dog for the Mongols. I hate them bastards. Here's another negative. You get stealth missions that you can fail instantly. Ugh, man, I absolutely detest this shit. Especially when you're cutting through a big base. And you just get right to the end and it's like, oh, you dick! And you're like, oh, for God's sake. Back to the start. You know, and who thought that was a good idea? Of course, you can't have everything great, can you? Oh, it's just, oh, it's the worst. Moving on up, we've got photo mode, and the photo mode is delicious. Because not only can you make photos, you can make wee videos with music and stuff. Aye, experiment, have fun. Oh aye, you can also play a flute, which will change the weather, I believe. And I have heard that the game's weather is tied into how you're playing, so I'm always stormy and pure raging, lightning all the time. So I've been back in Scotland and bloody hell. Well, I never left, but you know what I mean, digitally. Another major plus point is I can't tell the side quests for the main quests apart. That's how good the side quests are. You get side quests like find people's families that have been butchered and it's like, name a God, man. It's got some right brutal stuff in it, this game. Not for the faint of hearted. No. Like this one quest I was doing where this guy's families went missing on a beach somewhere because they're getting smuggled across the water away from the Mongols to mainland Japan. And like, oh, I've not heard about anybody getting across, and I was like, going to go, you investigate, samurai man, and you're like, no bother. My honour tells me I need to do this. So you go and investigate. Turns out they were tricking these poor bastards and they were stealing the money and killing them, so I butchered all of them. You know, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, and all that jazz. It's some swan song for the PS4. Last generation for the PS3, they had Last of Us. Then there was a remaster a year later on the PS4, so I wonder if they're going to do that with this. A year later, you'll have Ghost of Tsushima Super Duper Edition, Hyper 4K 1440p, not run at 30 FPS. I don't know what the FPS in this one is, I don't care. It's smooth and it's gorgeous and that's all I care about. Can I play it? Aye. Am I good at it? No. Right, so this is a stealth action game. You can be as actiony or stealthy as you want, other than the mandatory stealth missions that you have to be stealthy, so get a wee bit of practice in before you do them. Right, I think I've waffled on enough about this amazing game, and it is amazing. If you own a PS4, go buy it. If you don't, go buy a PS4 and play it. Good night. Adios.